Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2006 Nissan 350Z. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6, and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, I'm super excited to be driving this Nissan 350Z for two reasons. First of all, I've always loved the Z line of cars, going all the way back to the 280 that I've driven. But also, this is a 33,000 mile Nissan 350Z, and so as time gets on, these are very popular cars. A lot of people modify them, a lot of people drift them. I learned how to drift on one of these, and so clean examples are few and far between, so I'm excited to share this one with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow the Nissan 350Z in today's video. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so down in the description below. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter VQ35DE. Well, it makes about 300 horsepower here for the manual. It was limited to 287 for the automatic, and I love it. It is very torquey down low, which is the really nice thing about these V6s, or really just six-cylinder engines in general. Down low, round town cruising, you do get that torque, so it makes it entertaining going stoplight to stoplight, not only on the racetrack. These do have some oil consumption issues. The VQ's not a perfect engine, but I think it was pretty good for what it was meant to do. It outpaced the Mazda RX-8 at the time, and that was kind of its big competitor, so I think it did that really, really well. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed manual transmission. It's fine. This particular clutch is super heavy, but I've driven other 350Zs that don't have heavy clutches, so I'm not totally sure why this one is, but it is relatively heavy, but it's notchy into gear. It's a nice driving experience, and I'm happy to be driving the manual, not only because I enjoy rolling my own gears, but like I mentioned, I get that 13 extra horsepower. Last but not least about the drivetrain, the 350Z is, of course, rear-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Nissan 350Z? Well, as I mentioned with the engine, it does have that torque down low. It is a nice cruising car. I can see an automatic one of these just kind of being a somewhat sporty daily that just has more character than a Camry or Accord. With the manual, this is a true sports car, and this was a very homegrown sports car, especially in Nissan's lineup at the time. This was really their only sports car during this era. We later got the GTR in 2008, 2009, and that was like their supercar killer that only came in automatic and set killer lap times and had nitrogen-filled tires. And the 240, the Nissan 240SX, had been killed by this point. So this was kind of their main and only offering at the time, and it kind of teetered between those two cars. Definitely better than the 240. It's more torquey, no back seats, that sort of thing, but definitely not as cutting edge as the later GTR. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is the fuel and coolant temperature. In the center is the tachometer, and off to the right is the speedometer. We don't have any forward-facing buttons on the steering wheel. However, you could have gotten that on other trim levels. This one didn't have it. And moving on to the door, we have this climate vent with handle to get in and out. This is identical to the 2025 Nissan Z. Down below, we do have our power mirrors and power locks and power windows, and moving into the center, we get those signature 3 gauges that the Z line has always had. I love that they've kept that heritage. We get a giant openable cubby here in the center, and our radio a little bit lower down. AM, FM, CD, that sort of thing, nothing too crazy. To the right of the radio, we do have a pop-out cup holder, and no pop-out cup holder I don't think has ever passed the big friggin' bottle test, so that's a fail. However, there are cup holders in the center console, and those do, in fact, pass the big friggin' bottle test. And then we get our climate controls. Again, very simple. Where to send it off to the left, temperature in the center, fan speed off to the right. Then we do get the shifter. The shifter does have a little touch of blue, which I really like. It's a very simple shifter, and it does have the pattern up on the top. However, it actually is a little bit offset, so it's easier to read from the driving position, which is really, really cool. Down below, we do have a tiny openable cubby, hazard switch, and center console, and the seats are cloth, and they are a little bit more aggressive than what you would find in the modern Z. They really do hold you in. This reinforces the sportiness a lot and helps keep costs low with the cloth. So kind of a dual purpose to these seats here today. Now, this generation of Z never got back seats. After the 1990s, they never went back to having back seats in their Nissan Zs. So this never came with it. However, we do have a trunk, so let's hop around there and go do a quick trunk review. All right, we're on the back of the 350Z, and we do have a button down here. It's kind of hidden, but there you go, and pop up the trunk. Now, we do get this giant strut brace that kind of ruins the trunk space of the Nissan 350Z. It's okay, but it's kind of annoying. But we do have a decent amount of space besides that, but we also have a sticker that I don't know if I've ever seen before. It's how to fit 2 golf bags in the back of the Z. This is a very, very specific sticker. Very weird. The luggage compartment cannot accommodate all types of golf bags. Good to know. So if you're a golfer and you want a 350Z, write this down in your notebook. But overall, that is the rear storage space of the 06 350Z. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And first of all, it's finished in a lovely blue. Love that. However, it's also just so iconic. I think the design is very simple. This was a pretty big departure from the Z32 that came before it. Here's one of those. And then you can tell switching to this, quite a bit changed. It got a little bit stubbier, but I kind of like this look. And this was carried through the 370Z and now the current Nissan Z. But if you were a fan of Forza Motorsport 2, this was on the cover in its signature bronze color that I absolutely adore. So to me, anytime I see one of these, I love it. I had a Matchbox or Hot Wheels of this exact car in this exact color, and I would carry it around with me everywhere I went. I loved it as a kid. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 06 Nissan Z? Well, I also have a comparison video out on my channel comparing this to the modern Z. The week that I'm reviewing this, I also have a press loan for the new one. And so getting out of the new one and getting into this one, you really notice how low tech this car is, and that's a very good thing. This is a very basic, and it feels very homegrown sports car. It's very honest in what it wants to give you and what it has for you. And so I like the fact that there's no screens in here. I like the fact that it doesn't have auto rev matching. It makes me be a better driver by rev matching. The new one comes with its standard. I like that there's no back seats. Nissan didn't even think to give this generation back seats. They weren't even gonna pretend that this could be a family car. It is not. It is not a family automobile. So I like all of that together. This feels honest, and it's one of those cars from my childhood that I always kind of dreamed of driving. I always wanted to drive, and I've been fortunate enough to drive a handful of them, but the experience doesn't change, and it's an overall good one. This isn't a don't meet your heroes. This is, hey, meet your heroes and beat the snot out of them. Enjoy your heroes, because your heroes probably love you as much as you love your heroes. That's the exciting bit. This car just has such a clear and precise purpose that you don't often find in a lot of cars today. And that's what I love about the 06 Nissan 350Z. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow their 350Z for today's video. They are absolutely wonderful. We have filmed so many cars from them. They are truly the best, so please go check them out with the information down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.